Okay, there we go. 1900. Let's hear if anybody is out there for this week's weekly net. ZS6 OPS standing by for check-ins. Please go ahead now. Okay, 1901. Any check-ins for this week's weekly net? ZS6 OPS standing by. Okay, let's acknowledge you there, Pierre. Good evening. At least I'm not on my own. There's 6 FPS. There's 6 IPS. Zoom is also open. Okay, acknowledged Werner. ZS6SAR, no problem. When you get to the home base, you don't need to call in again. You can just listen out as I move forward this evening. Let's see if there's any other check-ins. There's OPS standing by. How's it, Pierre? Let's do a quick audio test. Unmute.
Good evening, Chad. Your audio is 5.9.
All right, good stuff. Thanks a lot. Okay, 1903. I wonder if there's anybody else out there for this evening's check-ins. ZS6 IPS standing by. $19.03. Any further check-ins for this week's net? ZS6 IPS still standing by.
Yeah.
$19.04. Second last call for check-ins. ZS6 IPS still standing by. Right, last call for check-ins. There's 6 OPS. Okay, nothing else heard. Good evening, everybody. Today is Sunday, the 13th of November, 2022, and the time is now 19:05. Those wishing to join this net using Zoom, I join the Zoom meeting as it is now open. If you do not have the Zoom link, please contact me on WhatsApp 082-859-2684, and I'll send you the link with the greatest of pleasure. We usually begin with the amateur radio check-ins on the Rudderpert repeater 145.625, and once completed, we then continue with the evening net. So therefore, greetings to one and all, and welcome to the net this week. This net is broadcast every Sunday evening at 1900, and as I say, broadcast on amateur radio frequencies, as well as on Zoom for the benefit of both radio amateurs as well as members of the public. Everyone is welcome to join in and to participate in either of these platforms. I would like to remind all amateur radio listeners who have not checked in that you do not need to be a member of any group or club to check in or to use the repeater or any of the amateur radio bands. All that is required from you is that you have a valid amateur radio license issued by ECRN. The license issued by ECRN grants you the right to use any of the amateur radio bands at any time, and there is no need for you to ask for or be granted permission from anyone else in order to do so. Also, be advised that this weekly net is not broadcast for the benefit of radio amateurs or disaster relief cert volunteers only. The net is open to all members of the public as well, who are more than welcome to join via Zoom. I therefore would like to encourage you all to share the weekly net Zoom link with everyone they know throughout South Africa. Doing so will help us grow the weekly net and will contribute to disseminating information as far and wide as possible. Okay, ZS6OPS returning. It's now time to unpack the weekly COVID-19 figures. And of course, globally, the reported figures are at 635,104,670 compared to last week's figures of 632 million. This is a total of 2,000, apologies, correction. This is a total of 2,572,000 new cases having been reported this week, compared to the 2,449,000 reported last week. In essence, that is actually an increase of 123,000 cases this week, whereas on the previous week, only 2,500 was the increase. So the numbers are definitely fluctuating all over the show. The death toll globally is now at 6,609,000 compared to the 6,600,000, resulting in an increase of 9,343 compared to the 10,234 of the previous week. I must remind the listeners that several countries have adjusted their testing and reporting protocols, South Africa being one of them. South Africa, on the other hand, has seen a slight decrease in new cases for the week ending the 9th of November, which was last Wednesday, week 44. This week, we saw a total of 1,970 new cases being reported, with only 8 deaths. This equates to about 9.5% on the positivity rate, compared to the previous week's total of 2,107 and 52 deaths. So we see an increase, or at least a decrease of 108 cases and a decrease of 44 deaths compared to the previous week's figures. Okay, ZS6OPS returning after the timer. Monkeypox is still on the increase globally, with a total of 78,908 cases having been reported this week, compared to last week, 75,441. It's an increase of 434 cases, whereas the previous week we saw 2,354 new cases. So also seem to have slowed down. South Africa reported no new monkeypox cases or deaths and has had 5 confirmed cases to date. And that brings us to the end of the monkeypox and the COVID-19 worldwide. As far as other matters are concerned, not much to report on, except to say that there has now been a major explosion in the center of Istanbul, Turkey. Mass casualty event, 53 people have been injured, and I'm not too sure of the number of deaths, but that's quite a serious event that's taken place there at the moment. Okay, let's have a look and see. Are there any other check-ins for this week? Or Pierre, if there's anything you'd like to add, maybe you can just give me a thumbs up if you want to add something. Otherwise, I'm going to move on and I'm going to call for, okay, Pierre's got nothing else to add. Are there any other late check-ins for this evening's net? ZS6 OPS standing by. Okay, nothing else heard. Guys, in closing, firstly, I'd like to encourage the listeners out there to make contact with me and consider joining up as a CERT volunteer based on, you know, all the things that are happening around us. One thing I would like to say, I saw some reports coming through that 8 of the sluice gates at the Vaal Dam will in actual fact be open during the course of today, or had been at least, and therefore people downstream had to watch out for flooding, etc. The other thing is there were other reports, unverified from my side, that Bethel may have suffered quite a bit of flash flooding in and around the CBD. Okay, so no further check-ins. I'd like to thank all of those who checked in this week, as well as those who joined via Zoom. However, as the COVID-19 pandemic is still ongoing and is still infecting millions weekly, please remember to physically distance yourself and to wear a mask in order to protect others, especially the elderly who could lose their lives if infected, regardless of what the conspiracy theorists might say or think. It's always best to sanitize or wash your hands in any event on a regular basis. So for the week forward, be safe, be prepared, and of course, be happy. This is ZS6 OPS now releasing 145.625 for general use. Cheers all. And there we go. Another week done. Hello, Pierre.
Hello, Chad. How are you?
Good, and you?
No, good. We had lots of rain.
Yes, it's like you can't believe, China. I've had 100 mils of rain in the last 2 days again. Eh?
Sure. Yeah, no, I see all the dams are full. Or, yeah, the dams up here. And lots of flooding in like Centurion and